Chapter 1. Time is your silent partner. Use it or lose it. When you open your eyes each morning, there's one invisible gift that's already in your hands: time. It's the only resource you're guaranteed to receive every day, no matter who you are or where you come from. Yet, most people overlook it, undervalue it, and let it slip through their fingers without a second thought. Time is silent, but it's always present. It doesn't ask for attention or demand applause. It doesn't beg you to notice it. But make no mistake, time is the single most powerful force in your life. It's your partner in everything you'll ever accomplish or fail to accomplish. And the way you treat your time will determine whether it works with you to build the life you dream of, or against you, leaving you wondering where it all went. There's a harsh truth we all have to face: time is not refundable. Once it's spent, it's gone. You can earn back money. You can repair relationships. You can rebuild your health. But not time. Time moves in one direction, forward, and it doesn't care if you're ready or not. It's easy to take time for granted, especially when you feel like there's so much of it stretched out ahead of you. The illusion of endless tomorrows gives people a false sense of comfort. They say, "I'll start next week," or "I'll get serious about my goals after the holidays," or "there's always next year." But here's the uncomfortable reality. There's no guarantee of next week, next month, or next year. The only time you own is this moment, right now. Every second that passes is a second you will never see again. And if you think this message doesn't apply to you, if you think you have plenty of time left, ask anyone in their 50s or 60s how fast it all went. Ask them if they wish they could go back and make different choices. Regret doesn't come from what you did, it comes from what you didn't do, because you thought there would always be more time. Time is indifferent to your excuses. It doesn't pause while you overthink, scroll mindlessly, or hesitate on the edge of action. Whether you use your time intentionally or waste it, the clock keeps moving. Every tick is another reminder that your life is happening, right now. Not someday, not later, not when you feel ready. Right now. That's why time is your silent partner. It's working with you or against you, whether you acknowledge it or not. Every decision you make, how you spend your morning, what you focus on after work, whether you scroll or study, whether you invest in your health or postpone it, all of these are transactions. Every action is you spending time, and every expenditure adds up to a life story that's either intentional or accidental. You might be wondering, how do you know if time is working for you or against you? It's simple. Look at your habits. What do you do in the unremarkable hours, the moments when no one is watching? How much of your day is devoted to things that actively contribute to your growth, your goals, your relationships, your purpose? And how much of it is spent reacting to distractions, to notifications, to whatever seems easiest or most entertaining in the moment? Most people drift through time the same way a leaf drifts downstream. No direction, no plan, just carried by the current. But the current rarely leads to greatness. The current leads to mediocrity, frustration, and the quiet sense that you're capable of more, if only you had the time. But the truth is, you do have the time. You've always had it. The difference between those who build lives they're proud of and those who end up asking, "Where did it all go?" isn't about how much time they had, it's about how they chose to use it. There's a myth people cling to: "I'm too busy." It's the universal excuse, the default reason we tell ourselves when we're avoiding the hard work of change. But busy isn't the problem. It's how you're busy. Are you busy with purposeful action, or just filling your days with motion that doesn't move you forward? There's a huge difference between activity and productivity, and your time knows the difference, even if you pretend not to. Consider this: every day you're given 1,440 minutes. That's your daily budget, your personal allowance from the universe. You decide how to spend it. Whether you invest it in learning, creating, improving, connecting, or whether you burn it on distractions, procrastination, and passive entertainment. There's no one to blame if your budget is spent on things that don't matter. It's your account. It's your balance sheet. And the results, the life you live, are the direct reflection of your spending habits. If you want to understand just how valuable your time is, think about what happens in moments of crisis. When someone you love is in danger, you'll do anything to save a minute, to buy more time. When you're facing the loss of something precious, time suddenly becomes the only thing that matters. Yet, In the calm, ordinary days, the days we take for granted, we toss time away like it's infinite. The truth is, your ordinary days are the building blocks of your extraordinary life. It's not just the big moments, the graduations, promotions, weddings, or breakthroughs that define you. It's how you use the quiet hours, the unremarkable Tuesdays, the moments when no one's watching. These are the hours where your future is shaped. Successful people understand this at a cellular level. They don't just manage their time, they respect it. They defend it. They understand that every hour spent in shallow, mindless distraction is an hour they'll never get back, an hour that could have been invested in building something real. And this isn't just about productivity. This is about living a life you're proud of. A life where you don't look back with regret because you were too busy with things that didn't matter. When you learn to value your time, you begin to filter your choices. You stop giving your hours away so easily. You start treating your time like it matters, because it does. And here's the most powerful shift. When you respect your own time, the world starts to respect it too. You set boundaries. You prioritize with clarity. You say no to things that drain you and yes to things that fuel you. Time isn't just minutes on a clock, it's your life force, and when you treat it with the value it deserves, everything changes. This doesn't mean you have to schedule every second. It doesn't mean you can't rest, relax, or enjoy your life. It means you stop drifting. You wake up to the reality that every moment is a choice to build your future or let it slip through your fingers. So here's the question you need to answer right now. Is time working for you or against you? Is your silent partner helping you build the life you want, or is it quietly ticking away while you stay stuck? The choice is yours, because time doesn't stop for anyone. It's moving right now, even as you listen to these words. And the moment this chapter ends, you'll get to decide how the next minute is spent. Choose wisely, because your time is your life, and the life you want is built one moment at a time. Chapter 2. Today is the blueprint for tomorrow. Most people live their lives as if their future is something that will simply happen, a story that writes itself over time. They act like their dreams and goals are distant destinations they'll eventually reach, if luck, fate, or the right circumstances show up along the way. But that's not how life works. Your future isn't a lottery ticket. It's an ongoing construction project, and every minute you live today is either laying bricks for that future or letting cracks form in the foundation. It's a difficult truth to accept, but it's a liberating one. Right now, as you listen to these words, you're not just living your life. You're actively designing your future. Every decision you make today, no matter how small, is a vote for the person you'll become tomorrow. Every action is a brushstroke on the canvas of your life. The job you want, the health you crave, the relationships you hope to build, they don't arrive out of nowhere. They're not waiting for you at the finish line. They're growing, step by step, out of the things you choose to focus on today. There's a hidden architect inside you, working silently, shaping the structure of your life with the materials you provide. What are you giving that architect to work with? Excuses? Delays? Hours lost to distractions? Or are you supplying the tools of consistency, learning, and deliberate action? The power hidden in ordinary days. Most people think life is made up of big, life-altering events. The promotions, the weddings, the breakthroughs. But those moments don't build you. They reveal you. The real work happens in the small, quiet decisions you make when no one's watching. Do you get out of bed on time or hit snooze? Do you scroll mindlessly for 45 minutes or read 10 pages of a book? Do you put off your goals for another day, or do you take one small action to move forward? These choices seem insignificant in isolation. But they're not. Because your habits, the things you do consistently, become your future. The person you will be in 5 years is quietly being assembled by the things you do every single day. Your body, your mind, your finances, your career, your relationships, they're all under construction right now, and you're the builder. Every choice is a brick. Some bricks build strength, new skills, better health, deeper relationships, increased self-respect. Other bricks are weak: procrastination, distraction, avoidance, self-doubt. At first, you might not notice the difference. A single bad day doesn't destroy your future. A single wasted hour doesn't break the system. But over time, the structure starts to show the truth. A life built on intentionality stands firm. A life built on delay and distraction starts to crack. The inescapable equation of time and results. There's a universal law at work here, one you can't cheat, shortcut, or bargain with. The life you want is the result of how you spend your time. It's a simple equation, but most people avoid facing it because it's uncomfortable. They want to believe that success is something they'll stumble into someday, that they can keep living the way they're living now and still somehow arrive at the future they dream about. But it doesn't work that way. If you want to know where you'll be a year from now, 5 years from now, or 10 years from now, don't ask a fortune teller. Just look at how you're spending today. Are you investing in your growth? Are you protecting your focus? Are you doing the things that make you uncomfortable, but move you closer to the life you want? Or are you burning time in the fires of distraction, scrolling, watching, and waiting for the right time to start? The most painful truth about time is this: it's perfectly honest. It doesn't care what you say you want. It doesn't care what excuses you make. It simply reflects back to you the results of how you used it. The myth of future you. There's a comforting lie most people tell themselves. My future self will be more motivated, more disciplined, more ready. They imagine a version of themselves that somehow wakes up one day, suddenly driven, focused, energized, and ready to do all the hard things they keep avoiding today. But that future version of you, they don't exist. There's no future you who magically wakes up more disciplined. The only version of you that ever arrives is the one you build, the result of today's choices, repeated over and over again. If you want a stronger future you build that person today. If you want a wealthier, healthier, more fulfilled future you build that person today. Not when you feel ready. Not when life settles down. Not when you have more time. Today. The real difference between successful and unsuccessful people. It's not intelligence. It's not luck. It's not talent. It's how they spend their time when no one's watching. Successful people understand, on a deep level, that the future isn't built later, it's built now. They know that every moment matters, and they treat their time like an investment portfolio. They understand that the things they do today, the habits they build, the work they put in, the things they say no to, compound into the results they'll see in the future. They know that every hour is either a deposit into their future success or a withdrawal from it. The people who never reach their potential, they live in a constant state of postponement. They're always about to start. They're always waiting for a sign, a break, or better circumstances. But the people who achieve great things know that today is the only currency that matters. Momentum starts small, but it starts today. You don't have to overhaul your entire life today. You don't need to transform into a productivity machine overnight. All you have to do is make today count, just a little bit more than yesterday. Make one better decision. Take one meaningful action. Choose growth over comfort just once today. Because here's the secret. Small decisions compound over time. A 1% improvement every day might not feel like much in the moment, but over a year, it changes everything. Most people give up because they can't see the results right away. They don't understand that time rewards those who stay consistent, not those who sprint and quit. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be the best. You just need to keep showing up today, because today is the only day you ever really own. The final question. At the end of today, ask yourself, did my actions today move me closer to the future I want, or further away? It's not about guilt or shame. It's about awareness. It's about reminding yourself, every single day, that today isn't just another 24 hours. Today is the blueprint for tomorrow. The future isn't waiting for you. It's being built by you. And the only material you have to work with is the time you're living right now. Choose wisely. Chapter 3. The Power of Focus. Protect it like your life depends on it. In a world overflowing with noise, focus is no longer just a productivity skill, it's survival. Everywhere you turn, there's something designed to pull you away from what matters. A screen lighting up. A notification pinging. A temptation to scroll. A random thought that sends you down an internet rabbit hole. And with every distraction, your attention, your most valuable mental currency, gets stolen. Here's the reality. Your time isn't the only thing that shapes your future. It's how you focus that determines whether that time creates something valuable or slips through your fingers. Focus is the great multiplier. When you focus fully, even a small block of time can produce incredible results. When you're scattered and distracted, hours dissolve into nothing. Why focus is harder than ever, and more valuable than ever. The modern world is designed to fracture your focus. Tech companies spend billions of dollars engineering apps, platforms, and content to capture your attention and keep you hooked. Every notification is a digital hook in your mind. Every algorithm is a carefully designed trap to keep you scrolling. And here's the worst part. Your brain is wired to crave those distractions. Every time you check your phone, your brain rewards you with a tiny dopamine hit. It feels good, so you do it again. Over time, this constant interruption rewires your brain. You lose the ability to sit with a difficult task. You lose the muscle of deep work. You lose the ability to control your attention. And once you lose control of your attention, you lose control of your life. Because if you can't focus on what matters, you'll never build anything meaningful. The real cost of distraction, it's not just time. Most people think the cost of distraction is just the few minutes it takes to check a message or glance at social media. But that's only part of the cost. The real cost is lost momentum. When you switch from a focused task to a distraction, your brain doesn't instantly snap back into deep work when you return. It takes time, sometimes 15 or 20 minutes, to regain the same level of concentration. Now, multiply that by every distraction in your day. 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. Suddenly, you've lost hours of productive potential, not because you didn't have time, but because your focus was shattered over and over again. Distraction doesn't just steal minutes. It breaks your flow state, your creative energy, and your ability to stay deeply immersed in work that matters. Focus is a muscle, and most people let it atrophy. Focus isn't something you either have or don't have. It's a skill, a muscle. The more you practice focus, the stronger it gets. The more you indulge in distraction, the weaker it becomes. The problem: most people have been training for distraction their whole lives. They've built a reflexive habit of checking, scrolling, switching, multitasking. And they don't even realize they're doing it. If you want to reclaim your time and build the future you want, you need to retrain your mind to focus. That means resisting the urge to check your phone every time you feel the slightest twinge of boredom. That means creating environments where focus is the default, not the exception. That means deliberately practicing the art of concentration, even when it feels uncomfortable. The hidden power of deep work. The world doesn't reward people who dabble. It rewards people who go deep. The biggest breakthroughs, the books, businesses, innovations, and creative masterpieces, don't come from scattered, interrupted effort. They come from periods of deep, focused work where the mind locks onto a single challenge for hours at a time. Deep work is rare, and that's exactly why it's valuable. If you can train yourself to work without distraction, you become unstoppable. Because while everyone else is drowning in noise, you're making real progress. While everyone else is reacting to their notifications, you're creating. While everyone else is consuming, you're building. Attention residue. Why multitasking is a lie. You've been sold a myth that multitasking is a sign of productivity. It's not. Your brain isn't wired to fully focus on more than one cognitively demanding task at a time. Every time you switch from one task to another, your brain leaves behind what researchers call attention residue. That residue slows you down. It makes your thinking foggy. It fractures your ability to do high-quality work. The people who get the most done, and who build the most extraordinary lives, aren't juggling 20 things at once. They're ruthlessly focused on one thing at a time, moving through their day with purpose and clarity. How to build focus in a world of distraction. Focus isn't something you magically wake up with. It's something you have to build intentionally, every single day. Here's how you start. 1. Create focus zones. Block out specific time periods for deep work. Time when you remove every possible distraction, silence your phone, close unnecessary tabs, and train yourself to focus. Start small if you have to. 25 minutes of focused work, then a break. Slowly stretch those periods until deep work becomes your natural state. 2. Control your environment. Your surroundings shape your focus. If your phone is sitting next to you, you'll check it. If your notifications are on, you'll respond to them. Design your environment to protect your attention. Out of sight, out of mind. 3. Train discomfort tolerance. Focus isn't always fun. Sometimes, it's boring. Sometimes, it's uncomfortable. Train yourself to sit with that discomfort. The more you resist the urge to escape, the stronger your focus muscle becomes. 4. Identify your high-impact tasks. Not all work is equal. Focus isn't just about doing anything. It's about doing what matters most. Ask yourself, what's the one thing I can do today that would make the biggest difference in my future? Focus on that. 5. Guard your energy. Focus isn't just about time management. It's about energy management. You can't expect yourself to focus deeply if you're sleep-deprived, overstimulated, or burned out. Protect your sleep, your exercise, and your mental health. They fuel your ability to focus. Focus creates time wealth. Most people think they need more time, but what they actually need is more focus. With deep focus, a few hours can accomplish more than most people do in an entire distracted day. Focus compresses time. It's not about how many hours you work, it's about how deeply you engage with the hours you have. The most valuable skill of the 21st century. If there's one skill that will define success in the age of distraction, it's this: the ability to focus when others can't. If you can master your attention, you can master your time. If you can master your time, you can master your future. Most people won't do this. They'll continue to live in reaction, chasing the next ping, scrolling the next feed, distracted from their own potential. But you don't have to. You can choose to protect your focus. You can train your mind to resist the constant pull of distraction. You can reclaim your attention, and with it, your life. Because the future belongs to those who can focus. Make sure you're one of them. Chapter 4. Time works for you or against you. There's no in-between. Every second of your life, time is either building you up or breaking you down. There's no neutral ground. You may think you're standing still, just getting through the day, but that's an illusion. Time is moving, and with it, so is your future, either toward the life you want or further away from it. The great lie people tell themselves is that they have plenty of time to figure things out. They imagine their future like a faraway destination, something they'll worry about when they get there. But the truth is, your future isn't waiting at the end of the road. It's being created right now, in real time, with every decision you make. The way you handle time today determines whether it becomes your greatest ally or your quietest enemy. The future you want, the career, the health, the relationships, the freedom, it isn't just out there waiting. It's being sculpted, second by second, by the habits, actions, and focus you bring to each day. And time doesn't care if you're ready. Time is either an investment or a debt. Every day, you are making deposits or withdrawals from your future. When you invest your time, learning, creating, building, improving, time works for you. It amplifies your efforts. It rewards you with compounding returns, like interest on a well-placed investment. A book you read today might spark an idea 2 years from now. A conversation you have today might open a door you never saw coming. A workout you do today might give you the energy to seize an opportunity 6 months from now. This is time working for you, your actions stacking up, paying dividends in unexpected ways. But time can also turn into debt. Every hour wasted on meaningless distractions, every day postponed, every opportunity ignored, it doesn't disappear. It adds up. And time collects interest, whether you like it or not. The more you procrastinate, the harder things get. The more you delay growth, the steeper the climb becomes. The more you put off your potential, the heavier your regrets will feel when you realize what could have been. When you waste time, you're not just losing that moment. You're creating future obstacles. Time spent drifting today becomes the reason you're behind tomorrow. That's time working against you. Time is the ultimate multiplier. There's a reason some people accomplish more in 5 years than others do in a lifetime. They understand how to make time work for them. They aren't waiting for the perfect conditions. They aren't putting off their goals until life settles down. They know that every minute is raw material, and the sooner they use it well, the more it multiplies their results. The earlier you start investing in your health, the easier it is to maintain. The earlier you start learning a skill, the more time you have to master it. The earlier you invest in relationships, the deeper and more valuable they become. But if you waste those same minutes, time works against you. Bad habits compound just as fast as good ones. Procrastination feeds self-doubt. The longer you delay action, the scarier it feels to start. Time is neutral. It doesn't choose sides. You do. What you do today echoes tomorrow. There's a direct connection between the small choices you make today and the life you'll be living months and years from now. Every skipped workout isn't just a lost hour. It's a signal to yourself that your health isn't a priority. Every hour wasted scrolling isn't just a break. It's an hour that could have been invested in building a better future. Every excuse you make for why you don't have time is really just a convenient way of saying, I'm not in control of my time. What you do today ripples outward. Every time you choose focus over distraction, you strengthen your future self. Every time you prioritize learning, you give your future self more options. Every time you step outside your comfort zone, you make it easier for your future self to handle challenges. It works both ways. Every time you postpone your dreams, you're adding weight to your future regret. Every time you choose comfort over growth, you shrink your future possibilities. Every time you let time slip through your fingers, you make your future self's job harder. The life you want isn't created later. It's created now. The compound effect of time, for better or worse. One of the greatest truths about time is that it compounds. You've heard of compound interest in finance, how small investments made consistently can grow into massive wealth over time. The same principle applies to how you spend your time. Every day of deliberate action, even if it's just 15 minutes of reading, 30 minutes of exercise, or 1 hour of focused work, adds up. Over months and years, those small efforts multiply into remarkable outcomes. But the same principle works against you when you waste time. One skipped day doesn't feel like much. One binge-watching session doesn't feel damaging. 1 week off from your goals doesn't feel catastrophic. But time compounds in reverse too. Every day you avoid progress, you lose momentum. Every bad habit becomes harder to break. Every delay adds another layer of difficulty to the work you'll eventually have to do. You are either benefiting from time's compounding power, or you're being buried by it. No one escapes time's judgment. The scariest thing about time? It keeps moving whether you use it or not. You can't pause it. You can't store it for later. You can't negotiate with it. Every day you waste, time quietly takes its payment, in missed opportunities, lost energy, fading confidence, and growing regret. You don't get to opt out of the process. You only get to choose which side of the equation you live on, time working for you or time working against you. You don't have to be perfect, just intentional. The goal isn't perfection. You're going to waste some time. You're going to have days where distractions win. That's life. The goal is awareness, catching yourself sooner. It's about learning to recognize the difference between rest and distraction, between intentional breaks and mindless escapes. It's about taking ownership of your hours instead of reacting to them. If you catch yourself drifting, pause. Ask, is this how I want time to work for me, or against me? That one moment of reflection, done consistently, can change the entire trajectory of your life. Your future is already under construction. It's happening right now, with or without your permission. The only question is whether you're an active participant, someone deliberately shaping their future, or a passive observer watching time slip by. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to know exactly where you're going. But you do need to decide, will time work for me or against me? The answer isn't in what you say, it's in what you do with this next hour, this next day, this next week. Because time isn't just ticking, it's building. And every second is either building your future or eroding it. Choose wisely. Because once time chooses a side, it's relentless. Chapter 5. Master the art of saying no. Guard your time like your life depends on it. There's a moment in every successful person's life when they realize the most powerful word they can learn is no. Not maybe. Not I'll think about it. Not sure, why not? No. It's simple to say, but incredibly difficult to master. Because every time you say no, you risk disappointing someone. You risk being misunderstood. You risk being seen as difficult, selfish, or unkind. But here's the truth. Every time you say yes to something you don't truly want or need, you are quietly saying no to your own goals, your own growth, and your own future. Every yes is a withdrawal from your most precious resource, time. The people who achieve extraordinary things aren't the people who do the most. They're the people who defend their time the hardest. They're the ones who have built an invisible shield around their hours, guarding their attention, energy, and focus like priceless treasure. Because that's exactly what it is. Time is a limited currency. Spend it wisely. Imagine your time as a bank account with a limited balance. Every yes you give is a withdrawal. Every unnecessary meeting, every social obligation you didn't really want, every project you take on to be nice, they all pull from that account. If you give away your time freely to everyone who asks for a piece of it, you'll wake up one day bankrupt. Not of money, but of energy, creativity, and focus. And unlike money, you can't earn time back. This is why successful people seem so ruthless with their schedules. It's not because they don't care about other people. It's because they care so deeply about protecting the time they need to build something meaningful. Every successful person you admire, the creators, the leaders, the innovators, they all got there because they mastered one thing. They knew what mattered, and they said no to everything that didn't. Every yes is also a no. Most people think saying yes is harmless. What's one extra task? One coffee meeting? One quick favor? But what you don't see is what you're giving up every time you say yes. Every yes you say to someone else's priorities is a quiet no to your own. Every yes to an unnecessary commitment is a no to your personal goals. Every yes to a distraction is a no to your focus. The math is simple. You have a finite number of hours each day. The more of them you give away, the fewer you have left for yourself. And if you're not careful, you'll spend your life being busy, but never fulfilled. Constantly in motion, but never really moving forward. Why we struggle to say no. If saying no is so powerful, why do we avoid it? Because saying no is uncomfortable. It triggers guilt. Feels selfish. It risks conflict. We're conditioned to believe that being helpful, agreeable, and available makes us good people. From childhood, we're taught to please others, to say yes when asked, to avoid disappointing anyone. But here's the truth. Saying no isn't selfish. It's responsible. If you say yes to everything, you dilute your energy. You weaken your impact. You scatter your focus so thin that nothing meaningful gets built. Saying yes to everything is not kindness. It's self-sabotage in disguise. The price of being always available. Being available 24/7 might make you feel needed, but it guarantees you'll never reach your full potential. When your time is constantly up for grabs, by coworkers, friends, family, social media, random requests, you lose ownership of your life. Your day becomes a patchwork quilt of everyone else's priorities, stitched together by your exhaustion. The most successful people in the world didn't get there by being available to everyone. They got there by deciding, with intention, what deserved their attention, and saying no to everything else. They understand that every yes must be earned. No is a filter. Use it to protect your future. Saying no isn't about shutting out the world. It's about creating space for what truly matters. When you learn to say no, you create time for deep work, the kind that moves your goals forward. Learning, the kind that compounds into lifelong advantage. Rest, the kind that fuels sustainable progress. Relationships, the kind that matter, not just the kind that are convenient. No is a filter. It allows you to separate the essential from the noise. It ensures your time is spent building the life you want, not filling the calendar with things that leave you drained and unfulfilled. How to say no without guilt. Saying no doesn't have to be confrontational. It doesn't have to feel like rejection. It's about setting clear boundaries, with respect for both yourself and the other person. Here are a few ways to say no gracefully. Thanks for thinking of me, but I'm fully committed right now. I appreciate the invite, but I need to protect my schedule. That's not aligned with my priorities right now, so I'll have to pass. You don't owe anyone long explanations. A clear, polite no is enough. The people who respect your boundaries will understand, and the people who don't probably shouldn't have access to your time in the first place. Saying no is saying yes to yourself. Every no you say to something unimportant is a yes to something that matters. It's a yes to your vision, a yes to your health, a yes to the relationships that truly fulfill you, a yes to the creative work that only you can do. When you get comfortable saying no, you're not shutting doors, you're opening the right ones. You're telling the world, and yourself, that your time isn't cheap. It's valuable. It's intentional. It's yours. The fear of missing out, and why it's a trap. One of the biggest reasons people struggle to say no is fear of missing out. The nagging worry that saying no means you'll lose an opportunity. But the truth is, the opportunities that matter, the ones that align with your values, your vision, your unique skills, they'll still be there. And they'll be easier to recognize when your life isn't cluttered with distractions. When you say no to the wrong things, you make space for the right ones. Build your hell yes filter. Here's a simple rule. If it's not a hell yes, it's a no. If the invitation, project, or request doesn't instantly light you up, if it doesn't align with your most important goals or bring deep value to your life, it's not worth your time. High achievers don't fill their days with maybes. They fill them with absolute yes, the things that deserve their time, energy, and focus. No is a skill. The more you practice, the stronger you get. Like any muscle, your no muscle gets stronger with use. The first few times, it will feel awkward. You'll feel guilty. You'll want to explain yourself. But the more you do it, the easier it becomes. And the more you realize how much power you've been giving away by saying yes too easily. Every time you say no to something that doesn't matter, you reclaim a piece of your life. The choice is yours. Every day, you are either protecting your time like a valuable asset, or giving it away like it's unlimited. Mastering the art of saying no is how you build a life of focus, fulfillment, and freedom. Because time is too precious to waste on things that don't matter. So the next time someone asks for your time, remember, your no isn't rejection, it's protection. Protect your time. Protect your focus. Protect your future. Say no, and say yes to the life you were meant to create. Chapter 6. Time is the great equalizer. How successful people spend their time. There's a universal truth that applies to every human being on this planet. We all get the same 24 hours each day. It doesn't matter how wealthy you are, how famous you are, how talented you are, or how many connections you have, your time allowance is the same as everyone else's. The CEO of a billion-dollar company gets 24 hours. The aspiring entrepreneur struggling to launch their first product gets 24 hours. The artist painting in a tiny apartment and the world-renowned author sitting in a luxury villa both get 24 hours. Time is the great equalizer. It's the only resource that truly levels the playing field. And yet, some people use those 24 hours to build empires, write bestsellers, create lasting legacies, or master their craft, while others barely tread water, caught in cycles of distraction, procrastination, and regret. The defining difference between success and regret. If everyone has the same time, why do some people achieve so much while others struggle to stay afloat? It's not intelligence. Plenty of brilliant people waste their days. It's not luck. Luck may open a door, but it's how you use your time that determines whether you walk through it. It's not talent. Talent fades without focused practice over time. The defining difference is simple. Successful people treat time like their most valuable currency. Unsuccessful people treat it like it's infinite. Every hour a successful person gets, they see as an investment. Every hour the average person gets, they treat like spare change, something to burn without much thought. Successful people understand the true cost of time, and that understanding shapes every decision they make. The default mode is the enemy of success. Most people don't deliberately waste time, they just drift through it. They live on autopilot, doing what's comfortable, reacting to what's urgent, and filling their hours with low-value activities that feel productive but lead nowhere. They respond to every email instantly. They attend every unnecessary meeting. They scroll through feeds without even realizing how much time is slipping away. They confuse being busy with being effective. Successful people operate differently. They design their days on purpose. They filter their commitments ruthlessly. They make conscious choices about where every block of time goes. Their time isn't up for grabs. It's already spoken for by their goals, values, and priorities. The power of time audits. Seeing where time actually goes. Most people are unaware of how much time they lose to meaningless activity. They think they're too busy for their goals, but they never actually examine where their hours go. Successful people track their time, not obsessively, but intentionally. They review their weeks. They audit their calendars. They check whether their time is flowing toward what matters or bleeding into what doesn't. They treat time the way elite athletes treat nutrition. They know that every small decision compounds into the final result. When was the last time you did a real audit of your time? If you looked at the past 7 days, how much of your time was invested into learning something new, working on your personal goals, building something meaningful, resting intentionally to recharge? And how much of your time was spent reacting, scrolling, or doing work that felt urgent but didn't move you forward? The difference between those two numbers is your future. Successful people work with focused intensity. One of the biggest myths about successful people is that they work non-stop, grinding 18 hours a day, sacrificing sleep, relationships, and health. That's not true. The most successful people understand that it's not how long you work, it's how deeply you focus during the hours you do work. Most people's workdays are shredded into pieces by distractions, emails, notifications, Slack messages, side conversations. Even when they work, they're working at 40% focus. Successful people protect their focus like gold. They carve out deep work sessions, blocks of uninterrupted time where they give 100% to the task at hand. They turn off notifications. They protect their creative energy from interruptions. They train themselves to concentrate deeply because they know that's where breakthroughs happen. 1 hour of focused work is worth more than 5 hours of fragmented multitasking. The power of prioritization. What gets done first matters. Not all tasks are created equal. Most people spend too much time on things that feel urgent but don't matter, replying to low-value emails, attending unnecessary meetings, completing small tasks that fill time but don't move the needle. Successful people reverse the process. They start their days with their most important work, the high-value tasks that actually drive results. They don't leave their real goals for later or squeeze them into leftover time. They front-load their priorities, making sure the essential work happens when their energy and focus are highest. What you do first sets the tone for your day and your life. Successful people say no constantly. The average person's day gets filled by default, with requests, distractions, and obligations they never really chose. Successful people say no a lot. They understand that every yes is a withdrawal from their limited time bank. They say no to meetings without clear purpose, social events that don't align with their values, requests that could be handled by someone else, time-sucking commitments that dilute their focus. Saying no isn't about being selfish. It's about protecting the space needed to do work that matters. The power of time blocking. Assigning every hour a job. Successful people don't just have vague to-do lists, they schedule their priorities. They block time for deep work, creative thinking, strategic planning, learning, rest and recovery. Every hour has a job, and every block of time serves a purpose. If something matters, it gets a place on the calendar. If it's not scheduled, it's not real. Successful people think long-term. Time is an investment, not just a tool. Most people live day to day. They focus on immediate tasks and short-term wins. Successful people play the long game. They understand that today's work isn't just about today, it's an investment in the future. They study, knowing the payoff might not come for years. They build skills that compound over decades. They nurture relationships that may open doors years down the road. They think about return on time, not just immediate results. Rest is a strategic investment, not an afterthought. Successful people know that peak performance requires recovery. They don't wear exhaustion as a badge of honor. They don't glorify burnout. They treat rest as essential, because rest restores the focus, creativity, and resilience needed to perform at the highest level. They schedule breaks, protect weekends, and unplug from devices, not because they're lazy, but because they know time off fuels better work. Your time habits predict your future. Want to know where you'll be in 5 years? Don't check your goals. Check your calendar. How you spend your time today, how you focus, what you say yes to, what you block out, is a direct predictor of where you'll end up. The future isn't shaped by dreams. It's shaped by the way you manage your hours. Your time, your choice. You have the same 24 hours as the people you admire. You can use them intentionally, or you can let them slip away. You can live by design, or you can live by default. The most successful people in the world aren't magicians. They're just better at making time work for them. You can do the same. It starts today. Chapter 7. Stop wasting time on the wrong things. Focus on what truly matters. The harshest truth about time is this. It's painfully easy to waste. It slips away in small, forgettable moments. The 5 minutes here, the 10 minutes there. It gets consumed by meaningless scrolling, mindless conversations, and distractions disguised as obligations. Most people aren't losing their future because of one catastrophic decision. They're losing it through 1,000 tiny leaks in the boat, none of which seem important in the moment. That's how dreams die. Not all at once, but gradually, invisibly, minute by minute. Time is precious, but we treat it like it's disposable. Imagine you had $1,440 deposited into your bank account every morning. That's all you get. No savings, no rollovers. Whatever you don't spend wisely that day disappears forever. That's exactly what's happening with your time. 1,440 minutes. Every single day. They're either invested into something meaningful, or they vanish. The difference between people who build extraordinary lives and those who drift into regret isn't talent, luck, or connections. It's how they choose to spend those minutes. Most people waste time on autopilot. The scariest part? Most people don't even realize they're wasting their lives. They confuse motion with progress. They confuse busyness with productivity. They fill their schedules with tasks, but those tasks don't move them anywhere worth going. They check emails constantly, but rarely work on their biggest goals. They scroll for hours, but never invest 30 minutes into learning a valuable skill. They say yes to every invitation, but rarely say yes to themselves. It's not intentional. It's just habit. And that's what makes it so dangerous. The most dangerous word. Later. The biggest enemy of progress isn't failure. It's procrastination disguised as rational thinking. I'll start tomorrow. Next week will be better. I'll focus when life slows down. These sound reasonable. They feel harmless. But every time you push your future into the hands of later, you're teaching yourself that your goals can wait. And the more you practice delaying your life, the easier it becomes. Tomorrow becomes next week. Next week becomes next year. And then, you blink, and you've spent a decade waiting for the perfect time to start. Spoiler alert, there's never a perfect time. The price of distraction. Most of the things stealing your time aren't emergencies. They're distractions dressed up as obligations. Your inbox isn't your job. Responding instantly to every message isn't productivity. Keeping up with everyone else's lives isn't personal growth. Constantly checking your phone doesn't make you more informed. It makes you more distracted. Every moment you spend reacting to things that don't matter is a moment you lose forever. And those lost moments don't just disappear. They add up. They compound into years of potential that was never used, opportunities that were never seized, and skills that were never developed. The illusion of being busy. Some people wear busyness like a badge of honor. They love to say how busy they are, how packed their schedule is, how little free time they have. But being busy and being effective are not the same thing. Most busy people are just hiding from the uncomfortable work that actually matters. They're busy responding, reacting, handling, juggling, but they're rarely creating, building, learning, or growing. They're filling their hours, but not with anything that moves them closer to the life they actually want. Success isn't about how many hours you fill. It's about what you fill those hours with. The wrong things, how to spot them. How do you know if you're wasting time on the wrong things? Simple. Look at the return on investment of your time. Ask yourself, does this activity move me closer to my long-term goals? Does it build my skills, relationships, health, or opportunities? Does it align with the future I want, or just distract me from it? If I spent the next year doing this every day, would my life be better, or exactly the same? The wrong things have clear patterns. They feel urgent, but they're rarely important. They give instant gratification, but leave you feeling empty. They fill time, but not your life. They pull you into other people's agendas instead of your own. When you start questioning how you spend your time, you'll realize just how much of it is being spent building someone else's dream, not your own. The right things, how to recognize them. The right things don't always feel urgent. They rarely demand your attention. But they quietly build momentum in the background, if you give them consistent time. The right things. Strengthen your mind, body, or spirit. Move you closer to financial freedom. Deepen important relationships. Improve your skills. Build long-term assets, knowledge, creations, businesses, health. The right things don't give you an instant dopamine hit, but they compound into a life you're proud of. Reading for 30 minutes doesn't change your life today, but over time, it expands your mind and your opportunities. One workout doesn't transform your health, but months of showing up does. 1 hour of focused work won't make you successful, but repeated over hundreds of days, it creates a body of work that no one can ignore. The courage to let go of comfort. Most people cling to time-wasting habits because they're comfortable. Scrolling is easier than writing. Netflix is easier than working out. Saying yes is easier than setting boundaries. But comfort is a trap. The life you want isn't waiting inside your comfort zone. It's on the other side of difficult choices. To stop wasting time, you have to get comfortable with discomfort. You have to be willing to say no to others, but more importantly, to yourself. You have to confront the fear that if you stop distracting yourself, you'll have to face what you're really capable of, and that's terrifying. But it's also where freedom lives. The power of subtraction. Make room for what matters. You don't need more hours in the day. You need fewer distractions in the hours you already have. Unsubscribe. Unfollow. Say no. Delete apps. Close tabs. Cancel low-value commitments. Every time you remove something that doesn't matter, you create space for something that does. And here's the secret. The more space you create, the clearer your priorities become. Without the noise, you can finally hear what your future is asking for. Audit your life. What needs to go? Take inventory of your habits, your calendar, your daily routine. Ask yourself, what am I doing every day that adds zero value to my future? What habits are slowly stealing my potential? What would happen if I replaced those habits with something better, even for 30 minutes a day? If you do this honestly, you'll see patterns, the same small time wasters, the same distractions, the same mindless routines that quietly eat your life. The good news? You can stop. You can take back control, one choice at a time. Your time is your life. Spend it on what matters. When you're old, you won't remember the videos you watched, the emails you answered, or the arguments you had online. You'll remember the things you built, the skills you mastered, the moments you shared with people you love, the risks you took, the impact you made. That's what matters. Your future is being written with every choice you make today. If you want a different future, you have to make different choices. The time wasters won't remove themselves. The distractions won't disappear on their own. You have to do it. And you can, starting now, because the clock is still ticking. The only question is, are you wasting time on the wrong things or investing it in the right ones? Choose wisely. Chapter 8. Time Blocking. Make your day work for you. Most people wake up and walk into their day with no plan, no strategy, no clear sense of how they want to spend their hours. They let the day happen to them. They check their phones before they check their goals. They react to emails before they decide their priorities. They let other people's requests, notifications, and emergencies dictate where their attention goes. The result? Days that blur into weeks, weeks that fade into months, and months that disappear into years with nothing meaningful to show for them. But successful people, they don't live like that. They don't leave their days to chance. They design them deliberately. And at the center of that design is one of the most powerful and underused tools of high performers: time blocking. What is time blocking? Time blocking is simple, but transformative. It's the practice of assigning every block of your day a specific purpose, deciding in advance what you'll do, when you'll do it, and for how long. Instead of drifting from task to task or reacting to whatever feels urgent, you take full ownership of your time. Every hour gets a job. Every minute has a mission. With time blocking, your calendar doesn't just track meetings and appointments, it becomes a blueprint for your life. Why most people fail without it. Without time blocking, most people fall into reactive mode. They spend their days responding, juggling, multitasking, and putting out fires. They might work hard, but they have no clear anchor for what matters most. The absence of structure leaves them vulnerable to the endless pull of notifications, interruptions, and random tasks that add up to nothing. Their best work, the creative projects, the long-term goals, the life-changing habits, always gets pushed to later. But later never comes. Without a system that protects time for what matters, the noise of the world will always win. The magic of pre-decided time. When you block your time, you're not just scheduling tasks. You're making decisions in advance about what matters. You decide what deserves your attention. You decide how much time you'll give it. You decide what won't get your time. This pre-decision process eliminates the daily mental tug-of-war. Should I work on this? Should I scroll for a bit? Should I check my email again? There's no decision to make, because the decision was already made. Your calendar becomes your commitment. Your blocks become your promises to yourself. The 3 core benefits of time blocking. 1. Clarity, knowing what matters most. When you block your time, you're forced to rank your priorities. You can't fit everything, so you have to choose. That choice is powerful. It forces you to face the gap between what you say matters and where your time actually goes. Do you say health is important, but never block time to work out? Do you say you want to write that book, but never block time to write? Do you say relationships matter, but leave no room for real connection? Time blocking makes those gaps painfully visible, and visibility is the first step to change. 2. Focus, protecting deep work time. Without time blocking, deep work gets squeezed between shallow tasks, emails, notifications, endless pings. But deep work, the focused, uninterrupted effort that creates real results, needs dedicated, guarded space. When you block 90 minutes for writing, or strategy, or creative work, you're not just making time for it. You're protecting it from everything else. Focus doesn't happen by accident. It's something you build into your day. 3. Control, owning your day before it owns you. The average person reacts their way through the day, responding to whatever pops up, getting pulled off track by the latest request, constantly losing time to distraction. Time blocking flips the script. You decide your day before the day begins. Your calendar stops being a list of appointments. It becomes your game plan, your map, your guide. You're not just showing up to life, you're leading it. How to start time blocking, even if you're busy. Most people think time blocking is rigid, that it only works for people with wide-open schedules. That's not true. In fact, the busier you are, the more you need it. Here's how to start, step by step. Step 1. Identify your core priorities. Not every hour is equal. Some things deserve prime time, your best energy, focus, and attention. What are your non-negotiables? Your health. Your most important work project. Your learning time. Quality time with family. These go on the calendar first. Most people do the opposite. They let the world fill their days, then try to squeeze in what matters. That's backwards. What matters most gets blocked first. Step 2. Create theme blocks for each day. Time blocking isn't just about individual tasks. It's about giving each block of your day a clear purpose. Example: 8 to 10 a.m. Deep work, writing, strategy, creative work. 10 to 11 a.m. Meetings. 11 to 12 p.m. Learning and growth. 12 to 1 p.m. Break and recharge. 1 to 3 p.m. Execution, tactical tasks. 3 to 4 p.m. Review and planning. 4 to 5 p.m. Buffer for surprises. Notice, you're not just blocking tasks, you're blocking types of work. This keeps your brain in the right mode, instead of constantly switching gears. Step 3. Build flex time, because life happens. Time blocking doesn't mean every minute must be rigidly planned. Build in buffer blocks, time for unexpected events, follow-ups, or breaks. The goal isn't perfection, it's intention. Even a flexible time block day gives you more control than a totally reactive one. Step 4. Review and adjust every week. Life evolves. Priorities shift. Time blocking isn't static. At the end of every week, review. What worked? Where did distractions creep in? Did your time reflect your real priorities? Adjust your blocks and move forward stronger. Time blocking is self-respect in action. Every blocked hour is a declaration. My time matters. My goals matter. My future matters. It's easy to drift when your time feels limitless. But your time isn't limitless, and every unclaimed hour gets claimed by someone or something else. When you block your time, you're not just organizing your day, you're protecting your life. You're telling the world, and yourself, that you are the architect of your future. One block at a time, the future you want. You don't build a successful life all at once. You build it one block at a time. One focused hour today. One small win tomorrow. One intentional day after another. It all adds up if you claim your time before the world claims it for you. So ask yourself, is your calendar proof that your goals matter? Or is it proof that your attention is up for grabs? The difference between drifting and achieving is simple. Who owns your time? Own it, block by block, and you'll own your future. Chapter 9. Eliminating Distractions. Take back your attention. If time is your most valuable resource, attention is your most powerful tool. Time flows whether you use it well or not, but where your attention goes determines what your time produces. The harsh truth is this: most people aren't in control of their attention. Their attention is scattered, constantly hijacked by devices, platforms, notifications, and the endless hunger for novelty. They don't spend their days intentionally focused on what matters. They live in a state of constant interruption. And here's the danger. Where your attention goes, your life follows. If your attention is scattered, your results will be scattered. If your attention is shallow, your work will be shallow. If your attention is dominated by distractions, your life will be filled with noise and empty of meaning. To truly own your time, you must first own your attention. The world is fighting for your focus. Right now, there are billions of dollars and thousands of brilliant minds working around the clock to steal your attention. Apps, websites, platforms, they aren't just providing content. They're engineering addiction. Every notification, every autoplay, every infinite scroll, these aren't accidental. They're carefully designed hooks, calibrated to keep you looking, scrolling, clicking, consuming. Why? Because your attention isn't just valuable to you. It's valuable to them. Your attention equals revenue. The longer you stay distracted, the more money they make. The cost? Your future. The true cost of distraction. Every distraction steals more than just the time you spend on it. It also steals your momentum, your energy, and your ability to think deeply. You've probably felt it, the mental fog that follows an hour of mindless scrolling. The frustration of sitting down to work and realizing your mind feels fragmented, unable to lock onto a single thought. The guilt that comes from knowing you wasted time, but still craving the next hit of distraction. That's not a personal flaw. It's a system working exactly as it was designed. Distraction isn't just time lost. It's mental power stolen. The longer you live in a reactive state, the harder it becomes to focus, to create, to solve hard problems, or to do anything that requires real cognitive effort. Distraction weakens the mind. Your brain is like a muscle. The more you train it to focus, the stronger your focus becomes. The more you let it jump from distraction to distraction, the weaker it gets. Every time you check your phone for no reason, every time you switch tasks mid-flow, every time you chase a dopamine hit instead of sitting with a challenge, you're reinforcing the habit of distraction. Over time, your mind becomes wired for interruption. It resists stillness. It craves novelty. It loses the ability to sit with deep work, long conversations, or real thinking. That's the real cost of distraction. It erodes your ability to focus, even when you want to. The hidden link between distraction and regret. Most people don't regret the work they did. They regret the time they wasted, the hours lost to things that didn't matter. They don't remember the notifications they checked. They remember the projects they never finished. They don't remember the videos they scrolled past. They remember the opportunities they missed. They don't remember the comments they argued over. They remember the relationships they neglected. Every hour lost to distraction is an hour you can't invest in the things that actually build your future. Your health, your work, your relationships, your goals. That regret builds quietly, like rust, until one day, you wake up and wonder where all the time went. The myth of quick distractions. One of the biggest lies we tell ourselves is this: I'll just check real quick. There's no such thing as a quick distraction. Every time you shift your attention, even for a few seconds, you pay a cognitive penalty. Psychologists call it attention residue. When you switch tasks, part of your brain stays stuck on the previous task. It takes several minutes to fully re-engage with deep work. Now multiply that by dozens of tiny interruptions throughout the day. Every notification, every glance at social media, every unnecessary email check. The result? You may work for hours, but only a fraction of that time is deep, productive work. The rest is fragmented, diluted, half-focused effort. Distraction-proofing your life. A necessary skill. Focus isn't something you either have or don't have. It's something you protect. You can't rely on willpower alone. The modern world is too full of distractions. You need systems, habits, and environments that make focus the default. Here's how you start taking back control. Step 1. Control your inputs. Most distractions enter your life because you leave the door wide open. Turn off non-essential notifications. Delete apps that steal more than they give. Unsubscribe from newsletters you never read. Curate your environment, your digital and physical spaces, so they support focus. The fewer temptations you expose yourself to, the stronger your attention becomes. Step 2. Design focus zones. You can't focus deeply everywhere, all the time. Create dedicated blocks of distraction-free time where deep work is the only goal. Silence your phone and put it in another room. Close all unnecessary tabs. Use tools like website blockers if needed. Protect these blocks like appointments, because they're the building blocks of your future. Step 3. Train your brain for stillness. If your brain is used to constant input, silence will feel uncomfortable at first. That's normal and necessary. Every time you sit with discomfort instead of reaching for your phone, you're retraining your mind. You're rebuilding your attention span. You're reminding yourself that you control your focus, not your devices, not your impulses, not the world. Step 4. Reclaim idle time. Distraction isn't just a work problem. It infects every corner of life. Waiting in line, phone out, commercial break, scroll, slight boredom, check notifications. These micro-distractions may seem harmless, but they train your brain to fear silence, and that makes deep focus nearly impossible. Start reclaiming those moments. Let yourself be bored. Think, reflect, observe. The more comfortable you become with stillness, the stronger your focus muscle grows. Step 5. Know your triggers. Everyone has distraction triggers: stress, fatigue, overwhelm, uncertainty. Distractions offer quick relief, but they make the underlying problem worse. Stressed? You escape into your phone, instead of solving the problem. Overwhelmed? You check notifications, instead of focusing on the next step. The more you understand your triggers, the better you can catch yourself before distraction takes over. Step 6. Make focus the path of least resistance. Distraction wins when it's easier than focus. Flip that equation. Make your workspace distraction-free. Keep your tools ready. Start each work session with a clear goal. Reward yourself for focus, not just output. The easier you make focus, the more natural it becomes. Every focused hour is an investment in your future. Distraction is easy, but it's a tax on your potential. Focus is hard, but it's an investment in your future self. Every hour you protect from distraction is an hour you give to building your skills, creating work that matters, deepening relationships, thinking deeply about your life. The people who succeed aren't the people who work the most hours. They're the people who focus the hardest during the hours they work. Your attention is your life. Where your attention goes, your time follows. Where your time goes, your life follows. You get to choose. Scattered attention and scattered results. Focused attention and focused progress. Take back your attention and you take back your life. Chapter 10. Time is the ultimate investment. How to invest in yourself every day. One of the most important realizations you can have is this. Time is the only resource you can never get back. Unlike money, unlike opportunities, unlike relationships, once time is gone, it's gone forever. Every hour, every minute, every second that passes can never be retrieved. No matter how much money you earn, no matter how successful you become, you cannot buy more time. So if time is the most precious resource you have, the only logical conclusion is that how you spend it defines your future. The future you want, the life you're striving for, it's not a result of your circumstances. It's the result of the choices you make with your time every day. And here's the key. Investing your time in the right ways is what builds your future. If you want a better life, a more fulfilling life, a more successful life, it starts by investing in yourself today. It starts with how you use your time right now. The most powerful investment you can make, yourself. You've probably heard people say, the best investment you can make is in the stock market, or invest in real estate. But here's the truth. The best investment you can make, the only one that guarantees returns, is in yourself. No one can take away the knowledge you gain. No one can take away the skills you develop. No one can take away the habits you cultivate. No one can take away the relationships you build. No one can take away the resilience you grow. Your mind, your body, your experiences, these are the greatest assets you have. And how you spend your time determines how much you nurture them, how much they grow, and how much they multiply over time. Every hour you invest in learning, in developing new skills, in strengthening your body, in nurturing meaningful relationships, these hours pay off compounded in ways that can change everything. The compound effect of small investments. Most people overestimate what they can achieve in the short term, but they underestimate the long-term compound effect of investing in themselves. Let me break this down for you. If you dedicate just 30 minutes a day to reading, learning a new skill, exercising, or working on a passion project, that's only 3.5 hours a week. It seems like very little, doesn't it? But do that consistently for a year, and you will have invested over 180 hours. That's almost 8 full days of work. Imagine what you could accomplish with that kind of consistency over a year. You could read 20-plus books on subjects that interest you. You could learn a new skill or even master one. You could build an online course or develop a side project that turns into a full-time business. It's not about doing everything at once. It's about the small daily investments that stack up over time, leading to extraordinary results. Now, think of the flip side. If you spend 30 minutes a day on distractions, scrolling social media, binge-watching TV, or engaging in mindless tasks, it seems harmless. But at the end of the year, you've wasted over 180 hours. What could you have done with those 180 hours? What could you have achieved if you spent that time investing in yourself? The point is this: the daily choices you make compound over time. They either create opportunities or steal them. They either bring you closer to the life you want or push you further away from it. Investing in your mind. Continuous learning is the key. Your mind is a muscle, and like any muscle, it gets stronger with exercise. One of the most important investments you can make is in your knowledge and your intellectual growth. Every time you read a book, take an online course, watch a documentary, or attend a seminar, you're expanding your mind. You're equipping yourself with new tools and insights that will help you see the world differently and give you an edge in whatever area you choose to focus on. Too many people waste their time with mindless entertainment. They might spend hours watching TV shows or scrolling through social media, but those things don't add to your intellectual wealth. They don't improve your ability to think critically or solve problems. They don't increase your value in the marketplace. Instead of pouring energy into passive consumption, why not invest it in learning something that can make a real impact on your future? If you spend just 15 minutes a day reading or learning something new, that's 90 hours a year. Enough to gain expertise in a new field, develop new skills, or significantly improve your professional and personal life. Investing in your body. Health is wealth. We all know that health is the foundation of everything. Without it, nothing else matters. If you want a productive, successful life, your physical health must be a priority. You've heard the phrase, health is wealth, but too many people fail to treat their body like the precious asset it is. They sacrifice their health for their career, for comfort, for short-term pleasure. They skip workouts, eat poorly, and ignore the warning signs their bodies send them. But the truth is this: your body is the vehicle that will carry you through life. If it's weak or broken, you won't be able to accomplish your goals. Investing in your health doesn't mean becoming an elite athlete. It means taking care of yourself in small, sustainable ways. Move your body regularly. Take a walk, do yoga, lift weights, stretch. Eat nutritious foods that fuel your body. Focus on whole, unprocessed foods. Prioritize sleep and rest. Your body needs recovery to function at its best. Manage stress effectively. Meditation, mindfulness, and relaxation techniques can keep you sharp. Small investments in your health every day, even just 20 minutes of exercise or cooking a healthy meal, will pay off in big ways. It'll give you more energy, more focus, and more resilience. You'll be more productive, more effective, and more able to show up for the things that truly matter. Investing in relationships. Connection is power. Life is about connection. Whether it's with your family, your friends, or your community. Relationships are the fabric that ties everything together. No matter how much money you make, no matter how successful you become, you'll never feel truly fulfilled without strong, meaningful relationships. Successful people understand this. The people you spend time with shape who you become. They influence your thoughts, your actions, and your trajectory. Investing in your relationships means spending quality time with those who matter. Your family, your closest friends, your colleagues. Listening deeply and being present, not distracted or looking for your next thing. Supporting and uplifting others. True connection comes when you help others achieve their own success. But investing in relationships doesn't just mean showing up physically. It means being emotionally present and actively working on strengthening those bonds. Whether it's a phone call to check in on a friend, a date night with your partner, or supporting a colleague's career, those small investments of time and energy can create lifelong, meaningful relationships. Over time, these relationships can also provide opportunities. Business partnerships, career advancements, mentorships, and they can offer emotional support and joy in ways that make your life infinitely richer. The investment mindset. Long-term thinking. The key to successful self-investment is the long-term mindset. Most people want instant results. They want fast rewards. They want to see a return on their investment immediately. But the most valuable investments, in both finance and life, are the ones that compound over time. It's not about doing something once and hoping for a quick payoff. It's about showing up consistently, day after day, month after month, year after year. It's about creating habits that are small but powerful. It's about staying focused on the bigger picture, not the short-term rewards. If you invest in your health today, you'll see small changes. More energy, better sleep, a stronger body. But 5 years from now, those small changes will have compounded into a completely new life, one where you feel vibrant, energetic, and capable of anything. If you invest in your mind today, you might only read a few pages at a time. But 5 years from now, you'll be miles ahead in terms of knowledge, insight, and capability. How to invest in yourself every day. You don't have to make huge, sweeping changes overnight. The key to real, lasting progress is small, consistent actions that compound over time. Here's how you can start investing in yourself every day. Schedule time for learning. Read for 20 minutes a day, take an online course, or engage in any activity that expands your knowledge. Commit to your health. Make exercise a non-negotiable part of your routine, eat foods that fuel your body, and get plenty of sleep. Cultivate relationships. Spend quality time with those you care about, check in regularly with people who uplift you, and invest in your emotional well-being. Develop personal habits. Practice gratitude, meditation, or journaling to strengthen your mindset. Invest in your passions. Work on the things you love, whether it's a side project, an artistic pursuit, or something else that brings you joy. Your future starts today. Your future is being built right now, with every decision you make. The time you invest in yourself today will determine where you are tomorrow. The good news? It's never too late to start. The best time to plant the seeds for your future is today.